Right hand throw, go.
WTF! WTF!
Hello, I'm Ross from Cultaholic.com. You are my sexual wank pheasants, and it's that bastard time of the week once again where I take a look at all the WTF moments from last night's WWE SmackDown Live. And to kick things off, we start with a sign that is in somebody's honour, but I'm not quite sure who. Somebody sent me this sign saying it was in my honour, but I can't see how it is to do anything with my shtick or anything I do here at Cultaholic. I'd never call people dirty marks, that's just absolutely horrible. And as for that slice of cheese with 2 bites out of it, I don't even like cheese, it gives us nightmares. Point 2, sign 2, and this time the sign that reads Kevin and Sammy, Kings of the Pre-Show. I mean, come on now, really? Kevin Owens, King of the Pre-Show? Forget Survivor Series, that was clearly a one-off. 1 Universal Championship, 2 Intercontinental Championships, 3 United States Championships, 1 WWE Network documentary, and 1 Glasgow smooch on the 4-heat of Vince McMahon. That is not a King of the Pre-Show, that is the King of all our hearts. Point 3, sign 3, and this time we have the sign that reads Sammy has more soul than Shane S. Who on earth is Shane S? I mean, this is obviously in reference to Sami Zayn's ginger hair and the fact that all gingers have no souls, but in terms of WWE, who is Shane S and who is Shane S with ginger hair? What does it all mean? Point 4, sign 4, and who knew that Scott Steiner was a fan of WWE? Because that sign there, that sign proves that he was at last night's SmackDown Live. Kevin and Sammy only have a 10% chance of winning. Next you'll be saying they've got a 33 and a 3% chance of winning a triple threat match. And when you add Kurt Angle in the mix, they've only got to do that. Stephen Zayn, Kelvin Owens, the numbers do not lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice. Sami Zayn's reaction when Shane McMahon's music hits, I mean, come on man, for the love of Christ, I hope Shane McMahon's just a bit jumpy with loud noises and whatnot, because his reaction should not have been as severe as that. I know that Shane McMahon is the best wrestler in the world today, and nobody in the entire roster compares to Shane McMahon and anything Shane McMahon does on the Shane McMahon show that SmackDown Live has become, but Sami Zayn reacted like he saw Godzilla riding Decepticon while Decepticon was singing something by Scouting for Girls and Godzilla was hoying watermelon Oreos at innocent children. So again, instead of just firing him like he was going to a couple of weeks ago, Shane McMahon just put Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in a wrestling match with rules. You gotta remember the rules, kids. As we all saw, Sami took on Randy Orton in a normal singles match, while Kevin Owens, as some form of punishment maybe, was handcuffed to the ring ropes, where he just had to stand there and do nothing. His punishment was to stand there and do nothing. I tell you what, if Shane McMahon sees this as some form of punishment for Kevin Owens, I guess next time we'll see the ball gag, the whip, the cattle prod, and the massive strap. Mistake, Corey. Aiden English hadn't even told us what the third day of Rusev would bring before Big E. How very rude of Big E interrupted Aiden English and stopped him from singing a lovely, lovely, lovely song. This caused Corey Graves for some reason to bemoan the fact we hadn't heard what 9 days of Rusev would bring, even though we only heard 2 of them, meaning we hadn't heard 10 of them. Train. Records tumbled last night on SmackDown Live as we saw Big E produce the single biggest load in the history of New Day pancakes. Rest in peace, young one. Rest in peace. Blood juice in his eye holes and his nose holes for days. Corey Graves dropping factoids like Russians do with nuclear bombs when he claimed that 12% of all males in Bulgaria born in 2017 are called Rusev. I tell you what though, the fact that it's only 12% is a huge WTF moment. I bet you that the other 88% of parents called their sons Alexander because they want to come over as all hipsterish and not overtly Rusev fans. You know how he used to be called Alexander back in the day. Yes, you do. Happy Rusev Day. Here's a direct quote from Liv Morgan to Daniel Bryan, who said, just because you're partial to brunettes doesn't mean us blondes don't matter. There's 2 blondes in the championship match of Clash of Champions, mate. A good one. Now, some of you out there might find this slightly hypocritical, even though I only speak the Queen's finest English, but Sarah Logan, bloody hell does she need subtitles. Well, she pisses it far because when I try to say prejudice when I've had one too many in Pop World, I come out with what she came out with on last night's show. Call me old-fashioned, but aren't matches where 2 ladies have a normal singles match inside the ring while the rest of the ring is surrounded by a bunch of other females, aren't they called lumberjill matches rather than lumberjack matches? And yes, they are, because I googled this. I know it's pretty much irrelevant because both Jack and Jill, they both went up the hill, but it's just tradition, isn't it? It'd be like calling Rusev Day Aiden Day. It's just not the same. Made a grave mistake, Corey. Corey Graham's asking what Baron Corbin can't do. I mean, really, Corey? Cut a promo, grow some hair and get a six-pack, and not one that belongs in the fridges at Tesco's, an actual one like I have down here. Oh. Hearing Dolph Ziggler say to another WWE superstar, focus on the winning man, is like me just turning into a little fly, getting myself on an aeroplane, putting myself on the wall, and watching Tom Phillips, of all people, give this safety demonstration. If your flight is over 4 hours, you must inflate your penis. Charlotte, what are you doing? Natty should stop talking what, Charlotte? I don't think she should be talking that. I bet Kevin Dunn backstage was absolutely losing his when he heard you do that, and he actually had to do some work to cut the sound of the show to make sure little children didn't hear you say that little word. It's funny though, because as we all know, Kevin Dunn lobbied for Talking Smack to be cut, so if Talking Smack was still a thing, you could have just said Talking Smack, Natty. So in a way, what Charlotte said there, which the sponsors won't like, and you don't want to upset the sponsors, it's all Kevin Dunn's fault. Tea! Byron Saxton claimed that Randy Orton is his own man, and I was sat there thinking, what on earth have you been smoking, Byron, you horrible man? Evolution, the Wyatt family this time last year, the Authority a few years ago, Rated RKO, Randy Orton loves a faction, loves a partner, he's just so lonely. Mike Chioda is a bastard confirmed, because as we all saw, he kicked those little bolt cutters right next to Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens took advantage of those later in the match. Or he just seen how Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been the victims in this storyline and just wanted to help them out. SmackDown, somewhat unwittingly I believe, are telling a really good story of how Shane McMahon is a power-hungry bellend and the two Canadians just kind of catch a break. I mean, Shane McMahon inserting himself as the referee at Clash of Champions is just horrible, and then threatening to make Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lose their jobs if they lose that match is even worse. Imagine having a boss like that. Oh, I did. And finally, the Randy Orton-Shinsuke Nakamura partnership. Where does it come from? Why does Shinsuke Nakamura want to help out Randy Orton? I just do not know. Somebody send me a nice little postcard telling me why. And that is it for all your WTF moments from this week's WWE SmackDown Live. I've been Ross from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at RossOnWrestling. Pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Anything you can give would be greatly appreciated and reinvested to make more nice things. But most importantly of all, join us.